Lesbian detective. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Live right now. Lesbian detective. Lesbian detective. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready to go. Pay attention to the message. I present to you the Lesbian Detectives.
This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we are here talking about missing and unsolved murders.
We are discussing cases that you have forgotten about or never even heard of.
So sit back, relax, and let's start this podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us for a new episode in a new week. And I know, I say it all the time, but I am thankful for all of you guys. This week has been a long week. I am tired. I just want a good nap. Like, we just been busy bees. And that's how life is sometimes.
Right.
We got a child. We got jobs. Got podcasts. Got everything.
We had been wanting to take the baby to Six Flags, but it rained Saturday, Sunday. Every time we would bring up Six Flags, it would rain right there on the spot. And then finally today, Labor Day, we were able to take her for a few hours, and then we got tired. We can't hang no more.
And it was super hot. It was so hot in Texas today, guys. It's like ridiculous. Like, I was just
Drained.
We're gonna do like 4 rides, because every ride, like, we go up there, they're like, oh, we're closing it because of this happening. Oh, we're closing it. I'm like,
Technical
man,
difficulties.
it was so many rides I want to go on, but we couldn't. I'm like, we gotta go. We gotta take off. Sorry, boss, but we gotta take off one day and just go to Six Flags with our daughter. While everybody, like, at work and at school, we would have like a day off.
Right.
But it was a warm California evening, the kind that promised calm, laughter, and ordinary routine. But that night, something was off. A young woman arrived at a busy restaurant, seemingly alone in the world, yet carrying an invisible weight that no one could name. She ordered her meal, but didn't stay put. She drifted from table to table, speaking rapidly, sometimes incoherent, mentioning strange things, as if she was listening to a voice only she could hear. The guests around her whispered in confusion, unsure whether to intervene or let the night unfold. As the evening wore on, a misunderstanding over a simple bill escalated, drawing the attention of the police. Soon she was in custody, taken to a station far from a familiar streets. Officer insists she was unharmed, that she was fine, that she was simply a young woman in need of guidance. And yet, something in her eyes told a different story. She had no wallet, no phone, no way to call for help. And when she was released into a quiet darkness of the surrounding hills, the ordinary night transformed into a nightmare that would baffle everyone who would heard her story. Hours turned to days, trail went cold, footprint vanished into the canyon, and dry creek beds. Calls went unanswered, questions multiplied, each one more haunting than the last. Nearly a year passed before her remains were discovered. Yet, even then, the mystery deepened. Her body told a story no one could fully explain. Clues left in the wrong place. Evidence mishandled. A scene that raised more questions than answers. And as the investigators dragged on, the sense of uneasiness only grew. Something went horribly wrong that night, and the truth, while partially revealed, still hides in the shadow, daring anyone who looks too closely to unravel it. This is the case of Mitrice Richardson. Mitrice Lavon Richardson was born in 1985. She grew up in West Covina, California. Raised by her mother and her stepfather, to her family, she was a spark of life. Sharp, beautiful, and with endless curiosity about the world. From a young age, she was drawn to psychology. She wanted to understand people, understand their mind. Her friends said she had a magnetic presence. She could walk into a room and everyone would notice. She danced, she modeled, she studied hard, and she dreamed big. After high school, she became the first in her family to attend college. She majored in psychology. It was more than just a study to her. It was a calling. By her mid-20s, Mitrice had earned her degree and was planning to graduate school. She wanted to become a child psychologist, focused on kids in the foster system. She was building a life outside of academics. She had a girlfriend, Tessa, and she danced as a go-go performer on the weekend. She was young, ambitious, and by all accounts, thriving. But in the weeks before her disappearance, things began to change. Her texts to friends and family grew stranger. Some of her messages didn't make sense at all. Her mother noticed it, but she brushed it off. Mitrice was playful, quirky, even theatrical at times. But later, those texts would haunt her. On September 16, 2009, Mitrice left work early. Her boss remembered her floating through the office, giggling and distracted, as if she had her mind somewhere else. That evening, she drove to her aunt's house in the Los Angeles suburbs, but no one was home. Instead of leaving quietly, she scattered her business cards across the porch, tucked them into the flower pot, and hiding them in little corners, as though leaving behind a breadcrumb trail. On her uncle's van, she wrote a strange note. "Who is queen now, Mississippi?" From there, Mitrice drove along the Pacific Coast Highway towards Malibu. The sun had long set, and the ocean stretched out to her left, dark, endless, quiet. She eventually pulled into a parking lot of Jeffrey, a upscale cliffside restaurant known for its ocean views, celebrity diners, and high-priced menu. That's where everything began to unravel. She parked, she stepped out the car to wait for valet, mumbling something about avenging Michael Jackson's death. The valet took notes of her odd behavior and reported to the host. Inside, Mitrice sat alone, nursing a cocktail and eating a steak. But soon, in a move that startled the staff, she joined a nearby table of 7. She spoke rapidly, jumping from topic to topic, even claiming she was from Mars. By the end of the meal, the other diners left, and Mitrice attempted to leave herself, but the 89 bill stood in her way. She told staff she had no money and assumed the table would cover her. The manager called her great-grandmother, Mildred, who agreed to pay, but the manager refused to take her credit card over the phone. An employee called the police. On the line, she described Mitrice as refusing to pay her bill. She sounded really crazy. She may be on drugs. Around 9 p.m., the deputies from the Lost Hill Sheriff Station arrived. They searched her car and found a small amount of marijuana and partially drunk bottles of alcohol. But the staff had noted that Mitrice seemed unfit to drive. Deputy performed a field sobriety test, which she passed. Surprisingly, They reported finding no wallet, money, or cell phone in the car, discovering suggesting otherwise. Staff concerned about her mental health considered paying the bill themselves, but ultimately allowed law enforcement to take her as the manager pressed charges. Meanwhile, Mildred called Mitrice's mother, alarmed at the strangeness of her daughter's behavior. Latrice called the Lost Hill station. Deputy assured her that Mitrice would be safe in custody until morning. The only way I'll come and get her tonight, Latrice told them, is if you're going to release her tonight. I would hate to wake up to a morning report, girl lost somewhere with head chopped off. Mitrice's car was impounded and she was transported 25 miles away to Lost Hill Station. Deputies could have held her if they believed she might be a harm to herself or others, yet they insist she was fine. Between 12:15 a.m. and 1:25 a.m. on September 17, Mitrice was released with no wallet, no cell phone, no money, and no way to drive back to her car. She tried using a phone at the station to call Mildred, but her call never made contact. Officially, she was charged with marijuana possession and defrauding an officer. With no prior record, she was released with a fine and a court date. Deputy refused to drive her back to her car and suggested she could sleep in the lobby until morning. Some jailers noted she said she was meeting a friend, but as Sheriff spokesman Steve told CBS News, she exhibited no sign of mental illness or intoxication. She was fine. She's an adult. Mitrice walked into an unfamiliar Malibu night alone without her belongings.
By 5:30 a.m., Letice called the station to check on her daughter. Deputies informed her that Mitrice was gone between 5:30 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. Bill Smith, a Monte Nido resident 6 miles from the station, called to report a young black woman wandering in his backyard. He said she seemed okay, resting, but she vanished into the rugged canyon terrain before officers arrived. Here's where the timeline grows murky. It took 2 days for Lost Hill deputies to start a search near Bill Smith's home. They didn't use scent tracking dogs that could have traced her route. Shoe prints suggested she walked, then suddenly ran towards Dark Creek and Dark Canyon. But the area was not fully searched. The case was reassigned twice, first to the LAPD Missing Persons Unit, then to the Robbery Homicide Unit. Investigators concluded that Mitrice had experienced a manic episode, likely linked to bipolar disorder. When LAPD searched her car, they found her wallet, cell phone, ATM card, and enough money to cover her dinner, directly contradicting earlier LSD claims. Months later, the investigation became even more baffling. Footage of Mitrice at the station existed but was initially denied to the family. When eventually released, it appeared edited. She is seen agitated, pulling her hair and tugging at the cell bars. At release, a deputy followed her quickly outside, though the department never identified him or clarified contact. Letice spoke to the media, demanding accountability from the sheriff's department. They should have never released her, she said. They promised me she'd be safe. They lied. Searches of Malibu Canyon yielded nothing for nearly a year. Some reported sightings of Mitrice in Las Vegas, either in a casino or working as a prostitute. But Letice remained convinced her daughter was still in the canyon area where she disappeared. Then, almost a year later, on August 9, 2010, 2 park rangers patrolling Dark Canyon made a chilling discovery: a human skull. The area was remote, tucked deep into Santa Monica Mountains, about 8 miles from the Lost Hill station. Search teams returned days later and found more remains. Dental records confirmed the identity: Mitrice Richardson. Her body was partially mummified, lying in a secluded ravine. No clothing, no personal items, just bones, weathered by nearly a year in the wilderness. The cause of death? Undetermined. The recovery was mishandled. Deputies arrived 1.5 hours after discovery, but delayed notifying the coroner another hour and a half. LASD removed her remains without coroner oversight, violating state protocols. No photographs were taken, soil samples collected, or scene documentation performed. Some remains are still missing. Official explanations range from rattlesnake bites to fatal poison oak reaction, then claims of animal interference or water removal of clothing. Non-consistent with evidence. Clothes were too clean, scattered positions too precise. No signs of decomposition, trauma aligned with animal or water theories. And mummification left her left arm tightly flexed. Forensic investigation was incomplete. Hair at the scene wasn't tested, bug casings ignored, no semen or fiber analysis conducted, and craniotomy to detect blunt force trauma wasn't performed. Even the coroner's office mishandled evidence. Clothes were discovered weeks later at the bottom of a bag, and Mitrice's pubic hair and clothing were never tested for foreign DNA. To her family, it felt like a second betrayal. Nearly 2 years after the devastating disappearance and tragic death of their daughter, Mitrice Richardson, her parents have taken a small step towards closure. Sources tell the Los Angeles Times that they have reached a tentative agreement to settle their lawsuit against the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department for $900,000, a sum that, while significant, can never truly account for the loss they endured. So what happened to Mitrice Richardson? Some believe the simplest answer, that she wandered into the mountains during a mental health crisis, disoriented and alone, and succumbed to the elements. But others aren't so sure. Why was she found with no clothing? Why were her remains moved prematurely? And why was she released from jail at all, after her mother's desperate warning? Over a decade later, her story remains unsolved. A young woman with her whole life ahead of her walked into the Malibu night and never came home. Her mother still asks the question no one has answered. What really happened to Mitrice Richardson? Before we end this case, let's sit back and remember the woman that was unalived. In the end, the story of Mitrice Richardson is not just a tale of mystery and tragedy. It is the story of a young woman who deserved to be seen, heard, and protected. For nearly a year, her family endured the unimaginable, not knowing where she was, fearing the worst, and struggling against the system that often failed to safeguard her. Every unanswered call, every delay in search, every mishandled clue compounded their grief. When Mitrice's remains were finally found in Dark Canyon, her mother, Lettice, and her father, Michael, were faced with the heartbreaking reality that their daughter had been so close, yet lost to them forever. And yet, even in the depths of sorrow, their love never wandered. Their love never wavered. They fought tirelessly, not just for justice, but to honor Mitrice's memory and the vibrant life she carried within her. Nearly 2 years later, after countless battles with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Lettice and Michael reached a tentative settlement, a recognition of the failures that contributed to their daughter's death. It could never bring Mitrice back, nor mend the pain of losing her, but it was a small acknowledgement of the truth they had always known. Mitrice mattered, her life mattered, and her story could not be forgotten. In remembering Mitrice Richardson, we are reminded that behind every case file, every news headline, and every cold report, there is a human life, a story, a family, and a love that endures beyond tragedy. This is the case of Mitrice Richardson. Now let's get into some theories.
Theories.
Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives. What type of thoughts you thinking? What theories running through your mind? I'm thinking all types of suspicion. Uncover the truth, what we can find. Witness say they saw somebody creeping out the back door. What you think they did it for? That's so crazy, I'm not sure. They found a car, where could she be? Here go another puzzle piece. Research and do your history. It's plenty unsolved mysteries. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories, yeah. Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives.
You or me?
Bad.
I feel like we all have the same thought of what happened at night. That the police, they took her to jail. They was like, you know what? I feel like they probably didn't want to deal with her. They was like, you know what? Let her go. Just let her go. To me, I felt like the police failed her. And this is where I go with police accountability and also police training. I think police, because it's so many mental illness cases that we see in the media, that police have failed a lot of people. I feel like somebody on that force or in that station, you should have at least 10 people that can deal with somebody with a mental illness,
Right.
that knows the signs, because she had signs. You could tell how the people at the restaurant was saying how she was acting. They're like, yeah, it seemed like she was on some drugs or anything like that. But listen to it, it seemed like she went through a mental break. Like something happened to trigger her mental illness. And we know, and we don't know for sure that was what's going on with her, but you can see the signs. Like even her mom called the people and said, hey, something is going on with my daughter. Please keep her there. If you're not going to let her go, just keep her there and I will come get her in the morning. Let me know. Like that's a mom like telling you like, my daughter's not okay. And a lot of people say that the police should have took her to the hospital to get checked out, to get on a hold for like the people who deal with mental illness can say, yes, she needs to be here for 48 hours to see what's going on. But the police didn't care. That's what I'm saying. A lot of police and a lot of people believe mental illness isn't real. That people are just faking it. That you're not sick. Nothing's wrong with you. You okay. Take some water, drink some water, you'll be good. But no, that's why I said a lot of people need the training. A police officer need the training of mental illness because you have different issues out there in the world that you need help. You shouldn't shoot first. You should say, okay, this person not in the same headspace. Something's going on. Let me talk them down. Let me see if I can work with them and take them somewhere that they can get the help. Not shoot first or like, just put them in jail. Give them the help. Help them. Your job is to protect and serve. Protect them. Serve them.
Right.
But you're not. You sometimes feel like it's the truth. They don't want to deal with it. But you have to. If you in that field, you have to. I feel like if you become a police officer, you should sit down and take psychology class.
Okay, so I agree. The police officer should have some special training, some special protocol. Obviously, they're not going to know if it's a mental illness, but they should take them in, right? And then once they're inside of the jail system, there should be a screening process. They should have somebody that can detect what their mental health is, right? And then take the proper steps to help that person. If they need to be released to a psychiatric ward or any place that they need, really. But it's not their call to make, right? Especially if they see that this person is not acting how they're supposed to be. Something's off. They said that the people at the restaurant believed that she was on drugs. Like, she clearly wasn't making any sense. When they called the mom, she was like, hey, are you going to keep her till the morning? Like, what's going on? And then they just like misled her, right? Like they lied. They released her without notifying the mom. To me, yeah, it was just mistake after mistake after mistake, even whenever they found the body. First of all, they didn't even conduct the search.
2 days later.
2 days later. And then once they did, they didn't follow the proper protocol. Now, my thing is was it training? Like, was it new officers or were they trying to hide
They
something?
were just trying to hide something. They effed up. They effed up big time. They figured like, okay, if we mess up the crime scene and like mess some stuff up, they're like, oh, they mishandle it. They won't get into much trouble to me if they mess up the crime scene. Person who going over her body, they would have found a lot of more information. Like, okay, this happened to her. This, her death was undetermined. Oh, a lot. Like they couldn't even say, well, she was attacked by animals, or was it bug? Was it? Oh, it was so. It was just like, what really happened? Nobody knows. To me, I'm telling the family the truth. When you got her body back, her bones back, you should have called. Like it's a person online. I forgot their name. Can't think of it. It's a doctor, somebody. They deal with a lot of bodies like got mishandled, and they should have called them, and they would have like really like say, okay, they really deal with bones. They could have really helped the family out and say like, this really happened to your daughter.
So to me, it almost felt like they were hiding something. And what really draws the red flag for me is the fact that when they found her, she had no clothes. So they released her from 12 to 1. And then we didn't hear back until 5 to 6 when a man phoned and said that she was acting funny, right? Behind his backyard or something like that. How did she end up all the way up in the canyons? Like, maybe they released her and they saw that she was a bigger problem and they took advantage of her. It just doesn't make sense to me how her clothes was missing, and they said that it could have been an animal or it could have been the water. So those theories basically went out the window from what they saw.
I think what happened was, because it's one part that always stood out to me, and we don't know who this is, but when she was leaving, they said a deputy came behind her and left, but they would never tell us who that deputy was. They kept that hush hush, right? What if he did? Because I don't know how long it would have took her to walk to point A, point B. We don't know. She probably got stopped, but for her to walk all the way to that man land and then up the canyon. Something happened from 1 o'clock to 1:25 a.m. to 5 something. Something happened to her in that time frame. We don't know because you got her missing for those couple hours. And it's like, you telling me you have no cameras over there? You have nothing to see where she walked to? You at the police station. You have to have cameras at A, B, C. You have to have it. So which way did she go? What happened? You can't tell me otherwise.
They found her after a year.
We're the place that her mom told them, this is where my daughter's at. This is where my daughter's at. We need to go here to find my daughter.
How did the mom know?
Because the way she was going. Like, she was on that man land, and the man said, yeah, she's going to the canyons. And mom was like, okay, she has to be in the canyons. That's where the man said he saw her walking to. It's the canyons. And to me, if they really did her job, if that man called and said, hey, she's on my land, she's walking to the canyons, they came and they just searched his property. If they really cared, they were like, okay, hold on. That sounds like the girl that we just arrested that left. Let's go to the canyons because the canyons aren't safe. It's so many wild animals out there. Let's go check. They didn't go check. They're like, we searched. We don't see her. Let's go back to the station. To me, if my job's on the line, I'm like, oh, I'll let this girl go. I can get fired or I can get in trouble. Let me go make sure she's okay.
Well, unless you have something bigger to cover up. So first they let her go. Then they got a call that she was heading up to the canyon. And they didn't even search the canyon. They just searched the property. Then they found the body and they messed with the evidence. It's just like so many things that they did wrong. It's like, what did they do right?
Nothing.
I guess the only thing was, they basically admitted that they were wrong, and even though the sum of the money that they granted the family isn't going to bring her back, it was at least justice for them. The police acknowledging that they messed up. They should have handled things differently.
We all say that. And it's like, it's so many women and men that dies in police custody that's not even talked about. You have Sandra that was in police custody that everybody think that she was unalive, and then they took her mugshot while she was dead. Say her name, Sandra. We all know her. And then a couple hours later, she's found dead in her jail cell. It's like, come on. It's just they try to cover up, and to me, it seemed like that station just covering up. Something's going on deeper that I feel like as people that we should know about. Like, okay, why did she go missing? Why you didn't do her job? Why you didn't like, okay, let me call her mom back? Why? It's like nobody stop and think like, dang, like that makes me mad. Nobody stop and just think. Let's just keep her in. Her mom always said like, I'll come get her tonight. Because where she was at and where her family was at, it was a long drive. That's why her mom was like, okay, if she's not coming out tonight, just like, I'm going to stay at home and then I'll come pick her up in the morning. And her mom even said like, keep her there. Keep my child there. So my child can get help.
Right.
Like, that's messed up because her mom begged for the help. Like, and then it's about the freaking restaurant. If the grandmama called and said, hey, like, I will pay for the bill, why didn't let her pay? I never understood that logic.
Right.
Like, she's offered to pay. Just let her pay. And I wonder, did the people at the table was like, we pay for your food? I always wonder that, like, did y'all really say y'all pay for her food?
I don't think so. I
Probably
think,
not.
honestly, she just had an episode, wasn't making any sense, felt alone, joined people, and the people probably try to rush out of there just to get away. But, I mean, everything was mishandled, and unfortunately, it cost her life.
Yeah, it was like, this happened and this happened. And like, it was like a snowball effect. Just like, her day was just bad. And then I think about her boss. Her boss said like she was happy. She was giggly. She was like floating. She was having a good day. And then she passed away the next day. That's just sad. And we will never know what really happened to her, because sometimes I feel like when somebody get unalive at a jail cell or something happened to them in police custody, that's the hardest case, because you have to take down a whole station. You need somebody to be a whistleblower to let us know what happened. And
Right.
I don't think we would ever know what really happened to her until somebody wants to speak up. And I don't think somebody will, because I feel like if they found out this person is going to tell the truth, they probably unalive them. They probably make sure they will never speak again. These cases like this piss me off, because you hope and pray that it will be solved and it will, like, someone will be a man or woman enough to tell the truth. But you looking like, nah, because they probably got something to lose too. Like, you know what?
Right.
But it might happen if they like get caught by like the FBI or something like, look, I tell you everything happened to that girl that you found in the canyon. If you like drop some of these charges, I mean, that could happen too. You never know. But this is our case, guys. I hope and pray that her family does get the justice, and hopefully somebody will tell us what happened that night. This is Lesbian Detectives. We are all social media. We are all podcast platform. We are also on YouTube. So please check out our YouTube to see our beautiful smiling face. We have case suggestions. So please tell me the case that you want to hear. And guys, y'all really like me doing child abuses case. I mean, like, y'all just keep sending to me and I'm going to do them. But like, guys, I am a mother. Y'all making me cry with some of these. Gosh, but another one is coming up. Again, y'all really like the Imani case. Y'all like, hey, can you do her case and give her a voice? And I will, because that little girl need a voice. So please check out that episode. It will come out soon. We are Lesbian Detectives. Don't forget, everybody's a suspect.
So proven innocent.
Bye.
Lesbian detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now. Lesbian detective. Lesbian detective. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready. Let's go. Pay attention attention to the message. I present to you the lesbian detectives.